Hey everybody, it's Nick Lightdorf. How you doing? Welcome to episode 74 of Off the Clock. This is the 74th day in a row that I've done a Facebook Live, and I'm really on a sovereign citizen kick. I've been looking at a lot of videos and trying to find like some first source information because you always see these like the videos where you see the end result where people get arrested and they go to jail. But I'm trying to trace it all the way back. I know some people have done this, but I like to do this stuff for myself to try and find as much information as possible. So I found this. So if you're watching this on Facebook, thanks so much. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe so you can get a notification when I go live. I've got a little under 290 of these to go. So if you want to, thanks for your support first off. So I'm going to share my screen and let's take a look at this website. So this is freedomfromgovernment.org. I put a link in the description, and actually this YouTube channel that's associated with freedomfromgovernment.org, it might be the different one, but there's a Freedom from Government YouTube page that has the guy that I talked about 2 days ago, the guy that said that the laws of the sea and maritime law apply because we were in our mother's womb surrounded by water and basically fluid inside our mother's womb. So that's why, in his opinion, the Admiralty law should apply to us and not whatever reality that we all operate in. So I don't know if the two are associated or not, but that'd be interesting to see if they are. So this is this website. There's a lot of different things I've kind of looked at a little bit. Let's go to you can buy merch on here, so which is interesting, because I mean, if you want to have this opinion and you want to do all this, that's great. I'm seeing so many people go to jail and get arrested when they act and say these things that they've been taught by people that are selling stuff like this. It doesn't seem right to me, so it's just kind of like trying to show some of these things and just trying to get some of this information out, because it's just like, why are people believing this stuff? So this is a card, exercise your right card, that you can buy. Let's see. So it says statements for police, my rights, silence, while having counsel present. So like, I've looked at some of these things before, and like, I would definitely agree with some of what they say in terms of speaking with the police, which is, I would not advocate for anyone to have a conversation. If you're in an investigation and a police officer wants to ask you questions, you do not want to answer any of those questions. Just to be completely honest with you, I think any criminal defense lawyer would say the same thing. It's not going to benefit you. You're not going to be able to talk your way out of it. You're only hurting yourself at that point by giving information. So yeah, I completely agree with silence. So some of these things, I have the right to know who you are. Okay. If I'm being detained and arrested, and why. If I'm not being detained, then I'm free to leave. Okay. Yep. I'm not acting in a commercial capacity as a driver of a motor vehicle. So this number 6 is where we start getting into like this way of thinking where people think that I'm not a motorist, I'm not a driver, I'm a traveler, and all this kind of stuff. So that kind of is where we kind of differ, I think. So let's see, there's that. I think we can go back to his tools. Here we go. So this is where you can actually buy these things from this website. This kind of troubles me, to be honest with you, because I don't see this working. I would love to see proof that you having this on the back of your car ended up with you not either 1, getting a ticket, or 2, getting arrested. I would love to see that, and please share those videos with me, because I'd love to see that. Because if I'm wrong, I would love to learn. I mean, because it would make me a better lawyer, because I would know how to beat these cases. But this argument of traveling and driving, and that you're not using it for commercial use, so you should be able to just travel freely on the road without any kind of driver's license, doesn't make any sense to me. So here you can buy that exercise your rights card. There's 2 books here that you can purchase. One is, I gotta write a book because apparently, like, I've been a lawyer for 14 years, and if we can write a book on how to try and get out of a traffic stop by putting something like this on the back of your car, then I definitely have at least one book in me. I can tell you that much right now. So you can buy this. Oh, you can buy this. Buy that license plate for $40. That's nice. And oh, what's this? A Divine Authority ID card. What is this? This sounds interesting. Okay. This is I think this is the guy. This is Trent Goodbody. And this is a universal identification card. Choose to be a member and choose to evidence the fact that you have chosen to withdraw from a corrupt and tyrannical secular authority by going natural. Interesting. That is, all right, so that's the front. It's got life began on or about June 5th, 1972. First breath location, Newport Beach, California. And then it's got mail, and then you can put your address on there or your email. And it says not a corporate entity dealing in commerce requiring a license of any kind. All right, that's interesting. And that costs $134 for this card. That is, that seems a bit steep for me. It's too small. I can't read it. That's a bummer. Let's see. The following is not an exhaustive list. What it'll do, but here's are some of our core foundational principles. As a living man or woman, I shall have the right to not only live but to live as I see fit via self-determination combined with free will, as long as I'm not harming others. Yes, that's correct. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that. That would seem to be, but then I guess I'm probably where we're going to go from that to somewhere else. As a living man or woman, I should have the right to liberty and to travel around creation by whatever means I choose, and even to bring guests with me along for the ride, quote, so long as I don't intentionally harm or trespass them, and I should harm anyone else or their property, I'll promptly make amends with them and do whatever I can in my power to make a whole living again. So here's where this kind of falls apart for me. So like this argument could be extended to mean that anybody can travel and without any kind of restriction whatsoever, right? So this idea of if you don't have to have a driver's license, then you could just get in an accident and hit somebody, and then go through the court procedure, and then when you're done with that, you could just basically just get out of if you have to go to jail or whatever, and then just get back on the road and start doing whatever you're doing without any kind of restrictions whatsoever. And I don't think that's what the whole point of living in a society is, because we have to look about public safety. If people are not fit to be able to be on the road, that's why we have, driver's tests. We have, in Michigan, if you get so many points, you're kind of like, the state is determined at a level of points. We don't think you're fit to be able to drive a car on a road, drive a motor vehicle on the road anymore. So we're not going to give you that privilege anymore. And that's where this kind of goes into privilege versus right. I was trying to find these quotes that they had on, let's see. Here's some other stuff. You can buy a lawful traveler package with a dash cam. So you can get your license plate that says private on the back of it. That should get you out of everything, according to this. And then you can have a dash cam that's with it as well. So that's interesting. Not for hire sticker, freedom from government, how to reclaim your power. I was trying to find what's your freedom worth. So books and work about empowering you by showing you who you really are, and most importantly, who you are not. Let me ask you a simple question. Who has the right to tell you that you can or cannot do anything that you choose to do as a human being as long as you're doing no harm to others? Okay. All right. No one. Well, I think it's the freedom that you have extends to like the end of your nose. I can't remember who said that quote, but it's, there are certain things you can do that you may not think are affecting others, but are affecting others. Like if you're speeding on a road, you're putting other people in danger just because, let's say, you don't touch anybody or do anything that would harm somebody. But if you drive in such a way that like causes other people to get in some sort of accident, then, that's that would be harming somebody. This book contains different information. Let's see. Where are some of these? Competency question. This was the site that I did the competency questionnaire on the other day. That's interesting. Public service notice questionnaire. So apparently you're supposed to give this to any public official. Bearer of this card does hereby lawfully notify that you're commercially liable for any violation of his or her rights, and that the bearer reserves all religious, constitutional, human, and sovereign rights, will not consent to a search of their person or property, not any questions about a public servant questionnaire, will hold liable under full commercial liability for damages. Okay. Will exercise the spiritual tenets of their personal creed under protection of the First Amendment and Religious Freedom Restoration Act. Fee schedule. 20 ounces of 0.999 gold or its equivalent per violation of any unalienable rights under any and all circumstances included in these rights hereby claimed are my right to make use of roads, buses, train, air stations, right to contract, engage in trade and habitation peacefully. Interesting. I don't know if that didn't switch over. I apologize if I didn't switch over. Bummer. If it didn't, let's see. So yeah, this just kind of is just kind of bothers me, this selling this stuff. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. Am I off base on this? It just doesn't seem like, because it's false. I just don't, a lot of this stuff is false. And if you do it like this, if you put this on your car and drive around, you're going to get pulled over, and it's just not gonna, I just don't think that's, yeah. Oh, here's something. Here's what I was looking for. Okay. So have a look at the Supreme Court case law. Notice the use of the word motorist, not traveler. Behold, therefore, that a random stop of a motorist in the absence of a okay. So this case, so that by saying that when they say motorist doesn't mean traveler, there's a flaw in that argument, and it's, yeah, I think you can see that one. Let's go down to these cases here. For many years, professionals within the criminal justice system act upon the belief that traveling was a privilege that was gained by a citizen only after approval by the respective state government in the form of issuance of a permit. Okay, so that's their premise, is that let's just take me, that I have falsely believed that you being able to operate a vehicle on a motorway is a privilege and not a right. So that's their first premise. Okay. And they're going to debunk that premise by these cases. So legislators, police officers, and court officials becoming aware that there are now court decisions that prove the fallacy of the legal opinion that driving is a privilege and therefore requires government approval. So some of these cases are, all right, let's look at this first one, Chicago Motor Coach versus Chicago. And that's like from the 1920s. So I can't pull it up here, but that quote that he's quoting right there, even the legislature has no power to deny a citizen the right to travel upon the highway and transport his property in the ordinary course of business or pleasure, though this right may be regulated in accordance with the public interest and convenience. Where one undertakes, however, to make greater use of the public highways for his own private gain, as by the operation of stagecoach or omnibus, a truck or motor bus, the state may not only regulate the use of the vehicles on the highway, but may prohibit it. So do you see where it left off here? After it says public interest and convenience, and then they stopped. The next sentence in that case, which is Chicago Coach versus City of Chicago, which is 337 Illinois 200 at page 206. It's a Supreme Court of Illinois case from 1929. The next sentence after that is where one undertakes, however, to make greater use of the public highways for his own private gain, as by the operation of a stagecoach, an omnibus, truck, or bus, the state may not only regulate the use of vehicles, but may prohibit it. A municipality can do so only under a power expressly granted by the state. I guess they could say that you are for his own private gain. Yeah, I'm not seeing how that case disproves that first premise that he laid out there. So then case number two, the right of the citizen to travel upon the public highways and to transport his property, either by carriage or by automobile, is not a mere privilege which a city may prohibit or prohibit at will, but a common right which he has under the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And then that is Thompson versus Smith. So where does that, I can't share this one with you right now because I can only share one at a time. So that case ends off with the pursuit of happiness. Okay. I'm trying to find this in this thing. Bear with me one second. So here's Thompson versus Smith. The right of a citizen to travel upon the public highways and to transport his property thereon in an ordinary course of life and business is a common right which he has under his right to enjoy life and liberty, to acquire and possess property, and to pursue happiness and safety. It includes the right in so doing to use the ordinary and usual conveyances of the day. And under the existing modes of travel includes the right to drive a horse-drawn carriage or wagon, or to operate an automobile thereon for the usual and ordinary purposes of life and business. It's not a mere privilege like the privilege of moving a house in the street, operating a business stand in the street, or transporting purposes or property for hire in the street, which a city may permit or prohibit at will. The exercise of a common right, here's where this is the next paragraph, which they leave out in this case number 2 here. The next paragraph goes on to say, the exercise of a common right, the city may, under its police power, regulate in the interest of public safety and welfare, but it may not arbitrarily or unreasonably prohibit or restrict it, nor may it prohibit one to exercise it and refuse to permit other of like qualifications under like conditions and circumstances to exercise it. So you cherry pick this quote here in number 2. The next paragraph says, yeah, you've got this common right, but the police power given to the state allows them to regulate it based on public interest and public safety and public welfare, but you can't do it arbitrarily. You can't say, I'm going to give a license to my friend because he's my friend, who has the same qualifications as another person who's not my friend, and I'm going to deny it to this guy who I don't know because he's not my friend. So there's no reason that's just arbitrary, or I'm only going to give licenses to people that pay me this fine and that have hair. So all bald people, sorry, bald people, you're out of luck. You can't drive in my state. That is arbitrary. So you can't use that as a basis. So this case number 2, you can't use this because you've cherry picked this. The next sentence, the next paragraph basically limits this, what he's saying here. Then number 3, the right to travel is a part of the liberty of which the citizen cannot be deprived without due process of law under the 5th Amendment. So that's Kent versus Dulles, and that's a case about passports and the Communist Party, and guy wanted to be able to travel to England, and question was could the passport department defer, or this is from OA.org, could the Executive Passport Department defer or refuse the issuance of passports to individuals suspected of being communists or of traveling abroad to further communist causes? So could they limit those people just because they thought they were communists? And no, the court held that the right to travel is an inherent element of liberty that cannot be denied to American citizens. Although the executive may regulate the travel practices of citizens by requiring them to obtain passports, it may not condition the fulfillment of those requirements on an oath saying that you're, not a communist. So it basically makes the point, this cherry picking this argument. The whole point of this case is that, yeah, you have a right to travel. We can limit it based and require you to have a passport. But you can't do it arbitrarily, and you can't make them, make someone swear an oath to get a passport, something like that. So that's basically what that case says. So all these, I just took 3. The first 3 of these were 0 for 3 on trying to show that this first premise, which is the idea that driving is a privilege and not a right. And so we basically, those are, these 3 cases just don't support that conclusion that I'm wrong. So I don't know. It bothers me that you're selling this stuff to people $40 for this. It's down from $54.95 down to $40. You can get 100. Hey, you can buy 10 for $25 a piece, 25 for 22. You can get a deal. I can tell you that. But then how much worth is it? And how much is it going to cost you if you put that in the back of your car? Because you're going to get pulled over and you're probably going to get a ticket. In Michigan, it can get expensive going through the court system. So anywho, I stumbled upon that and I wanted to share that with you guys. So that was episode 74. Let me know what you think about that website and selling that stuff in the comments. Be polite. Trying to keep this as I guess positive as possible. I do try and I try not to. I'm poking fun at the ridiculousness of this. I do have empathy for people. I just don't agree with this, and it's because the evidence is just overwhelming. This stuff doesn't work, and it's just sad. I don't know. I do laugh. I do like to make fun, and I do still have empathy for people. So anyway, hope you guys had enjoyed this. And remember to like and subscribe on YouTube, and appreciate all the support. We're almost up to 1,200 subscribers. So thank you for your support, and I will be back tomorrow. So have a